There is a saying that the closest thing to time travel is music and art. So that's what I want to do today, by embarking on a journey to 1800s Edo using ukiyo-e prints from the same time period. In the early 19th century, Edo is a busy, vibrant city of more than 1 million people. It is by far the largest city in Japan and one of the largest in the world. It attracts travellers and migrants from all over Japan, hoping to begin a new life. But before arriving in Edo, a potentially long and arduous journey must be undertaken, likely travelling along one of the 5 major highways of Japan. Our journey will be along the most famous of them all, the Tokaido, which stretches its way for over 500 kilometers down the Eastern Sea Road, connecting Kyoto, the imperial capital, to Edo, the shogun capital. At the time, it was one of the longest as well as one of the most well-maintained highways in the world. We begin our journey by leaving Kyoto via the Sanjo-Ohashi, a bridge that spans the Kamo River and signifies the start of the Tokaido Road. It is depicted by Hiroshige with a distant view of southern Kyoto. The bridge has porters, pack animals, as well as more genteel folk crossing it. Mixed into the buildings in the background are the temples of Higashiyama and Kiyomizu-dera. Like the individuals depicted, our journey to Edo would most likely have taken place on foot, as wheeled carts were almost non-existent. If you were of higher class, however, you might have used a kago, a form of sedan chair. They consisted of a basket attached to bamboo uprights that were then suspended from a single crossbeam. They would be carried by a team of 4 men, with 2 carrying and 2 resting. These were commonplace along the Tokaido, with this photograph being taken on the Tokaido itself sometime in the late 1800s. As we progressed down the highway, we would soon encounter one of the 53 government-sanctioned stations, known as Shukuba. The first on our journey is Otsujuku. Like all of the Shukuba, it contained restaurants, inns and stables, and will be frequented by the wealthy, as well as the porters that called the Tokaido their workplace. As we progress through the station, we might find ourselves stopping at Hashiri Tea House, a popular resting point along the highway. The tea house served the famous Hashiri Mochi, a sweet rice cake that remains a local speciality in Otsu to this day. The tea house was also known for its fresh water well, with both humans and animals competing for a moment at it. The tea house survived into the early 1900s and is now a temple called Geshinji. Our journey along the Tokaido would have us passing along a huge variety of different sights and landscapes, and we would soon find ourselves beginning to climb up high mountains, struggling through the elements, and passing by centuries-old castles, this one being Kyoguchi Gate. Later, at Nisashuku Station, we would not only be confronted by a steep road surrounded by foreboding black mountains, but also a large boulder. It is not just any boulder. It is called the Night Weeping Stone. According to legend, a group of bandits attacked and murdered a pregnant woman on this very spot. Her blood fell upon the stone and is said to contain her spirit, weeping each night at the loss of her child. In some variations of the story, it is said that a passing priest heard the stone calling out to him, begging him to save her child. The priest, inspecting the stone, would find the baby nestled behind the rock. The child, having been raised by the priest, would go on to take revenge. This story is depicted by Kuniyoshi in his 53 Parallels for the Tokaido Road, through which he tells myths associated with each Tokaido station. Away from the mountain peaks, we would also quickly find ourselves looking out over the ocean and walking along beaches, such as at Ishibe-juku. Hiroshige once again shows us a famous tea house known as Isiya. This shop was famous for its tokoroten, a gelatinous sweet made from agar and a black sugar syrup. In the print, a group of travellers are dancing, perhaps after trying the tokoroten. A group of women look at them in amusement, alongside their porter. Notably, it should be said, that women were unable to travel along the Tokaido alone and had to be accompanied by men, most often a porter. Our journey along the highway will increasingly become a journey of contrasts. passing through beautiful empty rice fields, and then suddenly interrupted by bustling stations and towns. Our seaside view giving way to views of ports, full of ships laden with goods on their way to the manufacturers in Edo. Some of these towns and ports, however, are not known for their good character, and are often the most treacherous parts of the journey, particularly when arriving at night. As we near Edo, a familiar view begins to appear. It is Mount Fuji, and it will be accompanying us for the remainder of our journey. Far more than just a mountain, Fuji has been central to numerous Shinto mythologies and continues to hold deep spiritual meaning for many. As we pass by Fuji, we might have encountered followers of Fujiko, a cult founded in the 1600s that venerated the mountain as a female deity, encouraging its members to make pilgrimage to its peak. Although waning by the time of our journey, the cult still persists to this very day. The Tokaido, like in many of the prints shown, was regularly lined by large trees to provide shade and as a windbreak against the elements. This photograph from 1825 would be exactly how the Tokaido would have looked along our journey. At some point, we would likely have stopped off at one of the many shrines and temples to give thanks for the safe passage so far and to give offerings for safety along the rest of our journey, and, perhaps, to also ask for success in whatever our endeavours in Edo are. Fujisawa Shuku is one such place, a well-known temple town which is dominated by Ugyo-ji Temple, the headquarters of the Ji sect of Japanese Buddhism. Hiroshige's print of the station depicts the temple in the background, nestled amongst the trees and the hills. The road is busy, full of pilgrims on their way to the temple and to Inoshima, a famous offshore island known for its Buddhist shrines. As we near Edo, we will enter into the Kanto Plain, with the city nestling in at its edge. The open fields and quiet seashore begin to give way, buildings spring up, and the roads start to get busier. Our arrival at the city is appropriately hectic, flanked on both sides by imposing wooden gates and confronted by porters stamping their way over Nihonbashi Bridge. It is the perfect snapshot of what we can expect from Edo. Hiroshige seemingly felt that the first edition of this print wasn't busy enough, with the second edition being positively rammed. The individuals reflect the diversity of Edo's population, full of samurai administrators, artisans, tradesmen and merchants, as well as farmers and servants. And so, from the Sanjo Ohashi to the Nihonbashi, our journey has ended. What wonders await us in Edo?